Hello, tribe of experts. This is another installment of the Expert Freedom Show. This is a show where we interview experts from around the world in so many different niches to bring you the golden nuggets that will help you to scale your business, your freedom, and your impact so that you can serve more people. Okay, that's what we're all about. We're about helping people to enable and advance the human potential. That's what our vision is here at Expert Freedom. And today, I have the lovely Nico Moreno, if I said that right.
Yeah, Moreno.
Moreno. Okay, lovely, nice, awesome. So Nico is a marketing expert who helps coaches and experts to scale their webinar campaigns specifically, and really their offers. And he helps people to do that through his strategies that we're going to get into today. And I know there's lots of people going to be very excited about watching this. So if you are watching the replay, hashtag replay below. If you're watching this live, hashtag I'm watching this live right now, and let us know how excited you are to be on this, because I know I'm excited. So Nico, I guess what we'll do is we'll just start a little bit about like who you are, where you live, and really what got you started in the online business space.
Yeah, for sure. So, hey everybody, my name is Nico Moreno, and I live in Dallas, Texas. So one of the hottest places. It's summer right now. It's about 100 degrees outside. Yeah, and so what got me started in the online space was literally I was just working at a 9-to-5 job, and I was like, I can't do this. Like this, I hate it. And so how do I get out? And so then I started to figure out ways to, or started like searching into ways to, work for myself or create income just in other ways. So it kind of just happened, I guess, organically, in that I was like, I can't do what I'm doing right now, so I got to figure something else out.
Nice. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So what did you like first stumble upon to leave the 9-to-5? What was that like new opportunity that you discovered?
Yeah, so the first thing that I made like a significant amount of money with was copywriting. So I basically was doing freelance copywriting work for other people who already had like online businesses. And I just found it, I guess I gravitated towards that because I found the psychology of it like really interesting. And I don't know, it just kind of came naturally to me. Like I know a lot of people will get started doing like SEO or Facebook ads or all these different things. But yeah, that was the thing that kind of just naturally I gravitated towards.
Was there anyone that you, at the time, that you learned off that you feel really accelerated your growth in the world and the skill of copywriting?
Yeah, Gary Halbert for one. So I bought his book called The Boron Letters, and that was really good and helpful. It's kind of like a weird, like it's not the typical type of like marketing book that you would think. It's really unique. I recommend everybody check it out. I would say that, and then I also I hired a business coach pretty early on in my career because I was just like, I had been following her for a long time, and I was like, okay, I know I want to like make a move, but I just don't know what to do. Like I don't know how to make it, I don't know how to make a significant amount of money online. If I'm going to be really quitting my job like for good, I need to like figure out how to make this work. So I would say like a lot of it was her too. Because she was successful and she kind of helped me get my first like big clients.
Nice. Okay, awesome. I've got the Byron letters in my Amazon basket, and they've been there for a while.
Oh yeah, check those out for like, seriously.
Yeah. Definitely get that. I'll put a link below after this for the Byron letters, so everyone can go check that out. Okay, cool. And then you got a business coach. So what would you say was the number one thing that you took away from that experience of working with a business coach?
Oh my gosh, I would say like it's the best investment that you could possibly make.
Yeah.
Like literally someone who has already been doing what you want to be doing, like they can change the whole course of everything like in like a sentence. They can be like, Nico, like this doesn't work, like do that.
Yeah.
Instead of you like spending months or years like trying to figure it out on your own. They literally can just tell you what to do. So I would say that was the best decision for sure.
So who watching this live right now has actually had a business coach before? Let us know in the comments just down below. I'm sure many of you have had business coaches, but let us know who that is. Would you be able to share the business coach that you actually worked with?
Yeah, her name is Sarah Peterson.
Okay, cool.
I don't think she does. I don't know if she really does business coaching anymore.
Okay.
But yeah, yeah.
It works for you though. That's all that matters.
Yeah, she more does like content or like content marketing.
Okay, cool.
And so that's kind of why I had been following her, because I was interested in like copywriting. And yeah, but she was super cool and like totally changed my life, like in such a big way.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's the power of coaching, and that's the power of information and wisdom. I mean, that's why we do what we do, because I was transformed by a coach in a program and know how impactful and transformative that work is to a human being. It really does advance human potential very quickly. It's amazing.
Dude, totally. And it's scary because like when I hired her, like I wasn't making, like the amount of money that I was making a month was less than how much she cost per month. So I was like, okay, like this is definitely like going into the red, but like I need help and I don't know what to do. So I think a lot of people are kind of like, they're like, they think of it like when I get to this certain level of income, then I can afford a business coach. I mean, it's the other way around, really. It's like, if you want to get to this certain level of income, like the easiest way is going to be to find a business coach that can help you get there. So I think once I made that switch, once I made that like mental switch, I was like, okay, like,
who's getting this right now? Let us know in the comments. Who's getting this? Like Nico's just said, even like he didn't even have the money to pay for this business coach, but it was like the best thing that he's ever done. And what most people get wrong is they wait for the money to then buy a business coach or a training program or so on. Whereas actually the thing that's going to get you to the money and to be able to pay for them is the coach, is that program, is the process that is going to push you forward. I think that's a really important point to bring up there for everyone. Awesome. Totally. So I guess let's just get into a little bit of tactics and strategies, because I know a lot of people watching this live or on the replay are really wanting to get into some of these strategies. I know we've got a really powerful headline here, which is 6 million in 18 months, selling a high ticket program. Could you first share with us what that campaign was all about, what the product was, what it kind of is, and a few points about the campaign, and then we can go specific into some of the strategies that you used.
Totally. Yeah. So this program, the offer that is in the headline, the 6 million in 18 months, it is a like fitness coaching offer.
Okay, cool.
Well, it's actually since been duplicate. Like there's now like a second like kind of version of it, I guess. So now there's like 2 offers that are kind of somewhat similar. But yeah, when it started out, it was a fitness coach who had like a high ticket fitness coaching offer.
Okay. How much was that?
When he started, it was like there were like 2 packages. Like the low package was like $2,500, and then the higher package was like $5,000.
Okay, cool.
And so like that's the kind of the first thing. Like a lot of people in the fitness space, their coaching offers are like a couple $100 or whatever, and like it's really, really hard to scale to that level if you're gonna be charging only a couple $100.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's kind of what the offer is / was. And then since then, he's also started doing like a coaching fitness coaches, how he did that as like a second offer.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. So what did how'd the campaign look? What assets did you build in order to hit the 6 million? Were you spending on ads? Was it organic?
Yeah. So when we first started working together, it was like all organic. So he was pretty much just doing like, I think messaging a lot of people on Instagram. Like when we first met, it was definitely like organic. And the way that we actually met is he purchased my Messenger bots course, and then he was like, hey, like, can you like help me like with more? And then I was like, yeah, sure. Like you should do like a webinar. And so we kind of like got to talking about that. But yeah, it started out like organic, and then got into webinars like kind of shortly after meeting. And then yeah, he's since been doing Facebook ads mainly. I think it's pretty much all. I just talked to him last week. Now he is at 900K a month.
Okay.
I think it's straight off like Facebook and Instagram ads.
Amazing. Okay, amazing. So
Yeah.
are you going straight to strategy call?
So how it works? No. So how it works is video ad to Messenger bot opt-in. So like that's kind of how that was kind of like I think the game changer, because Messenger bots were still kind of they were still new.
Yeah.
So it goes video ad to like Messenger opt-in, cool. And then from there like pushes them to a webinar. It's like a shorter webinar. It's not even like one of those long ones.
How long? And then
the way that I recommend it is like 12 minutes, but it's very specific. Like I have it literally down to like slides and like the script that you say. So it's usually about like 12 minutes. Sometimes can be up to 20 minutes, but keep it short. And then, yeah, just book a phone call. And then really the fortune is kind of like in the follow-up with Messenger bot follow-up, just getting them to like book an application. Okay.
Wow. Okay. Interesting. So we're talking 12 to 20 minute webinars, which is a little bit different to certainly what we show people. We sort of get people to do a 30 minute to 40 minute webinar once they've done a VSL, a shorter VSL. So what specific elements did you have in that webinar then?
Yeah, so I mean, by the way, there have been like several different variations too. Over the, gosh, when we first met, it's been like a year and a half ago-ish, give or take. So I'm sure that there's been a lot of different like kind of variations, but basically it's about 60-second like intro and like rapport building, and then kind of maybe like 2 or 3 minutes kind of explaining what you're going to be explaining to them, and then kind of going through a case study for like maybe like 3-4 minutes, and then results. Like ideally, I mean, it's going to help like a ton if you have like case studies and testimonials, because that's what people really I mean, that's what they want, right? They want to know that other people can do it and that you've helped other people do it. Mm-hmm. And then, so just really hammering with like social proof, that's big.
Ooh. Hello? Hello? I think we might have lost Nico. Yeah. Oh, Nico.
Are you here?
Yeah, I got you. I don't know.
Okay, you can hear me.
Yeah.
I don't know. Sometimes the internet's kind of spotty.
Yeah, that happens sometimes, man.
Yeah. So sorry, where were we? Like the final.
So we were talking about the 12 to 20 minute webinar and how you were saying it's quite important to have social proof and testimonials in there.
Yeah. I mean, I would say at the beginning, obviously, if you're just getting started, like you might not, but it will definitely help a lot. So we just like really hammer like the social proof at the end, and at the end of like the 12 minutes. So it's, you know, it's not that long. And then, yeah, call to action. Just say like, hey, if you're interested in this, like book a phone call right now. There's going to be an application.
Okay.
And then kind of going back and forth between that and like objection handling. Yeah. So like say one objection or something. And then it's kind of, I mean, really the psychology and the framework is the same as like a longer webinar, which absolutely work as well. Yeah. It's more just like condensing it because, you know, if a phone call is involved in the sales process, like that's kind of like, that's where the sale happens. So it's kind of like stressing the importance of the phone call. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So do you include a story in that smaller, shorter webinar style?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And do you also position a unique mechanism in that webinar as well?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm guessing this is like part of your methodology as well.
I mean,
the way that
yeah,
you're saying it.
Yeah, I mean, I understand webinars, bro. We've done loads of webinars too, and it's always interesting to understand how others put it together. It must be quite hard to put a really short one together, which includes all the elements that you want. I guess it's harder to make a simpler, shorter webinar because you have less time to put things in it, you know. But it's probably better as well because you're removing all of that friction that you probably don't need in a longer webinar that often people will jump off a longer webinar, right? So
Yeah,
really
totally.
how you've done it. Did you deliver the webinar through a chatbot so someone would actually watch it through on the chatbot itself, or did they have to opt in and go through to the actual webinar page?
Yeah, so in that case, it started out as, I think just like they would get sent to like a ClickFunnels page and like it would be there. So it wasn't actually like within the chatbot, but the chatbot would like send them to that page. Now he uses like EverWebinar too.
Okay.
For one of the funnels though, and then the other one, it just like it's straight like video on a page with the application. So I mean, there's different like formats that work. It's not necessarily one size fits all, and it also depends on what platform you're coming from, because YouTube, like Messenger, if you're trying to use Facebook Messenger, it does not convert on YouTube, like with YouTube ads.
I'm going to put this on because someone's just said that it's a little echoey. Gooston, my good sir, let me know if this is still echoey because I put these on now. So hopefully it's not. Sorry, man, you were saying there's lots of different ways to do it and they all sort of work. Would you recommend testing a number of different formats at the same time, or get one working first?
I would say get one working first. It's just gonna I would say remove as many variables as possible at first.
Okay.
Yeah. It's just gonna be better first of all, for getting results. Like if you have if you're split testing like a bunch of things at the same time, like you're not gonna know what the determining factor is. So don't do that.
The biggest problem that I see is people wanting to build 10 funnels, for my book, for my course, for my client attraction, all at the same time. And it's kind of hey guys, come on, let's just simplify everything and get one thing working first before we move on to something else.
Yeah, totally.
If you were to start selling a course or program right now, a high ticket course or program, what would be the strategy that you'd use step by step? What would it be?
Yeah. Okay. So strategy that I would use, I would say just get the offer, get clear on what your offer is. So it can just be literally one page of you kind of outlining in your head, what is the offer, who's the person you're helping, and what's the transformation you're getting them from point A to point B. You don't really need to overcomplicate it. I think a lot of people spend way too much time in the nuts and bolts, but if you can clearly outline to yourself, here's the person that I'm helping, and here's the transformation I'm helping them achieve, that's really the bulk of it. So I would say get that nailed in first, and then I mean, gosh, if you have a warm audience, you can kind of start reaching out to your warm audience organically and get them on the phone. That if you're starting from complete scratch, that's probably the better way to go about it. That way you can just, even if you're not planning on making any, or even if you don't make any sales, at least you're going to be kind of getting feedback on, is this something that people are actually wanting? And then from there, let's say that you know for a fact that it's let's say it's an offer that you've sold before or something like that.
Yeah.
And you're kind of out of that phase of was this a viable offer? From there, I personally would create, we call it a short form webinar. I would create that because it kind of gets you, how do I put it? For me, it makes it feel real. If you have a video about it, and you create the slide deck and you record it and all that, then like once that's done, for me, it feels like it's a real offer. And so then I would create that, create the funnel quickly. It's not a complicated funnel. And then, yeah, just start putting people through it. So if you have organic or...
Just to, by the way, thank you so much for sharing this, Gold. If anyone else has any questions,
totally,
comment them below. We do have a question here. I'll answer those questions in a second, but you said, just put the funnel together and so on. What specific funnel would you recommend in that second stage after we've got an offer validated through organic? We're just messaging people, we're sharing posts, we're getting people on calls, we're selling the offer, and now we're scaling up a little bit with the funnel. What funnel would it actually be? What it would look like?
Yeah, so definitely it needs to be like a video funnel, and we have like our own special, we call it like a short form webinar funnel. So it's essentially like getting them to opt in, and then you have like the short form webinar page.
Okay, straight away on the next page. There's no waiting room.
No waiting room. You can do that. I mean, I've done that before, and it works. It works fine. I more do that for like a course or something.
Okay.
It's more just like if you want it to feel, or if people know that it's not live and you're not trying to like pretend that it's live or whatever, then you don't really need a waiting room.
Okay.
So yeah, it's kind of like, that's one thing that's kind of up to you. I don't do the waiting room. I just like say, hey, here's like a case study, and they know that it's not live. And then, yeah, just give them the case study, which is the short form webinar, and then like link to a, what's it called? Application form.
Cool.
Or you can have it like embedded.
Would it be the application before call booking?
So how we do it is we have them pick the time of their call first, and then, so we use Calendly. So we have them like pick the time first, and then with Calendly, you can have like, once they select the time and date, then you can have like questions that they have to fill out before it's like officially booked. And you can set that up in Calendly. So those are like the application questions. So I haven't done a huge amount of like, I guess like split testing and like looked at numbers, but that way seems to be doing a little bit better. Okay,
awesome. So that's actually like a really simple setup.
It's super simple. Yeah, it's low tech.
I love that. The simple ways are always the best ways.
Yeah, like I spent, when I used to be doing, when I used to use EverWebinar, I don't use it anymore. It literally took me like a month to get like my first webinar like set up in EverWebinar.
Yeah.
And I was like, can't do that anymore.
Dude, we're exactly the same. We stopped using EverWebinar like a year or so ago because it's just so clunky and just don't need it. What do you use then? What's the setup for the video, and what's the tracking for the video then on that page?
I just use ClickFunnels.
Cool.
That's it.
And do you use...
So much simpler.
What do you use in terms of the actual video hosting for your short?
Vimeo.
Okay, cool, nice.
Yeah, I like Vimeo because, I mean, with YouTube, I used to use YouTube, but they just like, there's like construction across the street. I don't know if you can hear that. Yeah, we used to use YouTube, but then maybe like about a year ago or even less, they started doing this thing where like whenever you pause it, like it'll show like a bunch of recommended videos like across the video, and like you can't turn it off. So like you obviously don't want people clicking out to other videos. So yeah, we just use Vimeo because you can control exactly what experience you want, and you can make it like, if you want to not let them pause it, like you can do that too. Yeah, so I just like Vimeo because you can control everything.
Okay, nice. So we've got a funnel, and they're opting in, and they're coming through to have a look at that offer that we put in the webinar. We've positioned in the webinar. I want to just take the conversation to a chat about copywriting and messaging, because that's your real core skill. I know something that I'd love to pick your brains at. If anyone has any questions, they want to pick Nico's brains about copywriting, we've got him on here for free, and he charges a lot of money for the work that he does. So, comment below if you want any little questions answered. So when it comes to creating that little system that we're talking about, and it comes to creating that presentation as well, when it comes to a copywriting aspect of this, where do you start? Is it a hook, or is it a story that you look for? Is it an angle that you find in a book? Like, how do you normally go about that process?
Yeah. Do you mean like in an ad, or do you mean like for the video, or?
Yeah, the whole idea, I guess, of the webinar and the funnel. Like, I know what we do. We try to find a hook, potentially from someone's story, or find an idea, and then we use that idea to position in the webinar as the unique mechanism, and then show that on that landing page. Like, what's that core? How do you find that core message that you want to start testing with?
Yeah. Okay. That's a great way to put it. I would say, for me and for the case study too that we're talking about here, the fitness coach, it's kind of just asking yourself, like, what is the journey that I went through from point A to point B, right? So if it's a personal journey that you've gone through, then it's kind of like, okay, well, what was I before, and like, what am I now? Or let's say you help clients do something that maybe isn't applicable to you, then it's kind of like, okay, like, how do we help X type of person achieve or get from point A to point B, right? And so the example for the fitness coach who we're talking about here was, he actually had gone through a fitness transformation himself. It was kind of like how I went from, I can't remember the exact messaging, but how I went from getting picked on and being scrawny to becoming a fitness model, which is true. So yeah, I think for me as well, the easiest thing, and really kind of a way to just be, I guess, recession proof overall, as a coach or consultant, is start with the person, the individual who you're going to be helping, and then just create a headline or a story about how that person went on a journey or a transformation from point A to point B. And the point A is usually the person who you're going to be helping, and then point B is kind of the journey and the transformation that they want to ultimately, or I get the end point of the whole experience.
Okay,
that makes sense.
You're really boiling it down into a really simplistic form, like A to B, which is, would you say that core concept, if anyone could just take away from this video, watching this today, I know we're going to be sending this out to our list as well, so there'll be lots more people watching this. Would you say that getting a grasp of A to B, hey, where were you? Where are you? Where are you now? What's the result? And positioning that constantly throughout your marketing, do you feel like that's one of the most powerful things anyone could do?
Yes, absolutely. If you can get that down, it doesn't matter what type of offer or what format, if it's a course or a coaching program or whatever, at the end of the day, what people want and what people will pay for is a result. They want this end result, which is the B. And so if you can just understand what the A is, where they are right now, then you just craft your offer around getting them from the A to the B. And that's where it should start. Okay.
And I'm sure some people watching this maybe a little bit earlier on their journey. I know we've certainly had clients as well who are a little bit earlier on their journey, and they have a lot of different results in different things. How do you recommend focusing in on that core result that they should be helping people to achieve when you're maybe helping people without such clarity on the result? Because a lot of people start by selling hours of coaching, right? Just selling their time and so on. They haven't really gone into that realm of selling results. So how can we help someone to find the result that they should be selling to someone?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I would say if you have current clients, obviously everyone's at a different phase. So even if you're in the beginning stage and you are not clear on what that result is, like if you have current clients who have paid you or who are paying you now, like ask them, like, what's the end result that you really want to get out of working together? And then they'll tell you. If you've never had a client or anything like that, one way is you can kind of see what people are doing, like what similar coaches or what similar offers are being offered out in the marketplace. But typically, if you look at the three evergreen niches, which are like health, wealth, relationships, like health, if you're in the health and fitness space, it's pretty much always like you want to like lose weight or like you want to like get fit and stuff like that. With make money, it's like you want to make more money, have more freedom, get more clients, get more business. And then with relationships, that's an area that I haven't really like explored too much as far as marketing, but it's usually like, you want to improve your marriage or you want to like be able to like get dates or whatever it is, right? So it's pretty much, like the themes that are working out in the marketplace, like, and have been working for a long time, like they will be working for a long time too. Okay. Let's say if you're completely stuck and like you don't have any existing client base, I would say just get ideas from like what is already working out there.
Okay, that's really great. That brings us on to a great point, which I think a lot of people are going to get value from, is really how do we differentiate ourselves in a crowded marketplace? Let's say I'm a health and fitness coach and I have a 5K program. And like your client here who sold 6 million in 18 months selling a high ticket program, how could I differentiate myself from that other person that you worked with so that I could still get similar results and still do well?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think I'm glad that you brought that up. So what he did was, and the way that anybody can do this is, and of course it's ideal if you personally have gone through this sort of a journey yourself, but is literally just sharing your story. Like you don't have to try and be anyone else. People will resonate like with your unique story. And that's how you make yourself kind of like competition proof, right? Because certain people they will gravitate towards you because of what your story is and the way that you shared it. Like I get so many people who reach out to me because they're like, oh my God, like when you shared your story about how you were in this 9-to-5 job and like you hated that and then you finally figured out a way to leave, like that totally resonated with me, right? And like I didn't have to necessarily like think about, obviously, I wanted to, obviously, like I put a little bit of thought into the way that like I shared it in the webinar or whatever, but a lot of times people like think that and something that I used to think too is like, oh, I have to try and like put on this like mask and like be this like, perfect other person, just like, like Russell Brunson or like whatever, like all these other people out there. But then really when like what I kind of found out is that people actually resonate with your unique story and like your unique voice and the way that you put it.
Mm-hmm. That's so powerful what you just shared there. Who else thinks this is powerful? Please let me know in the comments, because that was gold. Certainly for myself on my journey, trying to think about how to uniquely position our company differently from others through the use of creating a unique mechanism and so on, isn't as powerful as what you just said, just sharing your story, and people are going to resonate with you. Some people aren't, but the ones who will are the ones who are going to buy. You don't have to convince people to buy because they're going to resonate with your story. So that's a really powerful point. If anyone wants to attract more clients and make more sales, start sharing your story, because that's going to help to resonate with your audience and with your market. Do you think that would also work, Nico? Let's say, for example, that I was in a market, but I'm not really like my story doesn't really represent the market that I'm in. Let's say, for example, what other methods could we use? Would we use client stories, or what other methods could we use to start attracting people with a unique sort of message, I guess?
Yeah. When you say, so what do you mean by that? Do you mean like, let's say you had like a personal journey in like losing weight or something, but you're like a business coach? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. I mean, I would say, yeah, if you have like, if you can get like one client result or client testimonial, even if it's for free, like it's gonna help a lot. It's just with, I mean, just like with the storytelling, like what really draws people into you uniquely is your story. Or you can, yeah, so you can tell the story of someone else who has achieved those results too.
Okay, cool, awesome.
So it doesn't have to be you, but ideally it's somebody that and really it doesn't have to be someone that you have necessarily helped yourself, as long as you're like clear about, that they weren't your client. I guess if you're starting from like complete scratch and you're like, here's an example of someone who like did this, as long as you're clear that like you didn't help them do that. I mean, I guess you could also try that. I would say the easiest way is either sharing your story or just finding one person out there who you can help kind of get a cool result, even if it's for free at the beginning.
Okay, cool. So, okay, awesome. That makes sense. So what would you say, there's a question here, curious, what was the mechanism in the webinar that we were talking about earlier? What was that unique mechanism that you were trying to position and sell in the fitness campaign?
Unique mechanism. Oh, I mean, the headline was something like, let me see if I can remember. It was something like how to lose weight without giving up, or without like without calorie restriction and without giving up like the foods you love.
Okay.
So like that's kind of, I mean, that's unique because most people, automatically like assume or think that in order to lose weight, you have to like calorie restrict and you have to give up the foods that you love.
Okay, that makes sense.
And so it was like curiosity based sort of.
Yeah.
But it was like a unique vehicle, yeah.
Okay, so for me as well, I'm trying to understand this whole idea that Russell Bronson introduced into my life, certainly, which was, you have a journey, and then there's a point in your journey where you discover this like new thing, and then you go on a journey and a plan to like implement that new thing, and then out of that you create this thing. So he found funnels, and then he created ClickFunnels, right? That was his like the opportunities he created. So when it comes to writing your webinars and positioning offers and so on, is it vital that someone has found this like new method of, for example, fitness? Like they found this new method of losing weight without whatever it is. Do they call that? Would you call that method like a special name to make it quite cool and interesting and like brand it in a way, like the eat nothing diet or something like that? Whatever it might be, and then you would then position the program as like the eat nothing program or so on. So would you say it's important to come up with that like unique name for your methodology in order and position it in the webinar itself, or do we not even have to bother telling anyone the name about it and just show them results and then they can book a call?
Yeah, that's a great point. And I think the answer depends on what stage of business you're at. If you're just starting out, you might not have like your own special, unique way, like full on dialed in yet. And so I think like at that point, like more people are going to just be interested in hearing your story. If you're then like later on though, if you're going to be scaling and running like heavy amounts of paid traffic, at that point, you're going to be competing against other big names in your space, and people are going to need to, in order for them to go with you, of course your story may resonate with them, but in order for them to like, a lot of times people have tried other things in the past, and in order for them to want to go with the new guy who like, or new girl, they need to, at least somewhere in your marketing, like they're going to need to be convinced, or at least be open to the idea that like you have this other new way that they haven't tried and failed with in the past. Because if they think that you're doing the exact same thing that everybody else is, and they've failed doing what everybody else has taught them, then like they're not even gonna try and work with you. So I feel like I kind of danced around your like answering that question, but I would say it's important. Like if you have a unique mechanism, then yes, do it. And I would say it gets increasingly more important to have that and to like introduce that in your marketing, like the further along you're like scaling and reaching like cold audiences.
Okay, cool. It brings me on to another question that I'll ask you, and then there's another question to answer here.
Sure.
Thank you so much for your time, Nico. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
So that brings us onto a great question. Let's say, for example, we're a fitness coach, and there's another fitness coach, and essentially our method is the same because pretty much most methods are similar, right? In the way that they are put together. Like you need a webinar funnel or whatever it is. You need a webinar, whatever, similar things. So what would you recommend to someone in the position where they're in a very competitive market and the methods are all pretty much the same? How could we then position something as a unique method when everything's similar? If you get what I'm saying.
I totally do. I mean, and here's a really just like a great example, like Atkins versus keto. They're like, I mean, I was never on, like I never really did Atkins or anything, but I do keto now, like the keto diet. And from what I've heard, again, I'm not like a fitness expert, but like from what I've heard, they're basically the same. And it's literally just like calling it something different. So if you are in that sort of situation, like just be creative and like come up with a way to like name it something different. Or I mean, like you guys also see what I did, right? Like I called my thing like the short form webinar. Like it's different from what everyone else calls it. And like literally like you can just like, you have permission to just like come up with a new name, right? Like I mean, that's really the only way to do it. If you find that, especially if you have a phone call in the sales process and you're getting a lot of objections where they're like, oh, well, like I did this other thing, or like someone else is like selling this other thing and it sounds exactly the same. Like, what's the difference? That might be an indication that you do need to kind of come up with just a different way or a different name.
Okay, cool. I think that's, sorry, go on.
I don't know. I was just going to say like, again, like Atkins versus keto to me is like the most obvious example.
That's actually such a good one.
Yeah. I mean, from what I know, they're the same.
Okay, cool. Awesome. All right. Well,
I mean, everybody is doing keto and like Atkins is unhealthy. I don't know.
It's the old way, isn't it? It's the old way. Okay, interesting. Now, you've just given everyone permission to, come up with something unique themselves, be creative. That permission that you've just given, I know is going to change a lot of people's lives, because I've certainly been stuck for months trying to come up with a unique mechanism and so on. And you've just given people like myself and others permission just to be creative about it and test it and see if it works or not. That's just that's all you can do. Okay, cool. We've got a couple of questions down here. Okay, sweet. So this one is from Irene. She says, can I say something like, how did I get my second life using the Paraglamma method in my webinar? So she helps people with her beauty and health and like helping women to feel more young and helping them to grow their hair back and so on. So she wants to say, how did I get my second life using the Paraglamma method? I
love that. Like, I think that's super unique because it's like, then people want to know, like, what is the Paraglamma method? And like, how can I use that to get my second life?
Yeah.
I think that's really great. It's very intriguing and it's very like curiosity based. So yeah, I mean,
nice.
I would say go for it.
Yeah, nice, sweet. Thanks. And next one, great value, guys. So you don't use a webinar software, question mark. I was thinking about just using Vimeo. Do you find it makes a big difference or not having a live chat on the webinar page?
I think it kind of depends if you're doing, like if you're pretending that it's a live webinar, then in that case it will make a difference. Because it's kind of weird. Like if, I don't know, it's kind of weird to like, it just doesn't feel right if you're.
Oh, we've lost Nico again. I keep thinking it's my internet, but my internet's okay. So
it must be mine.
We lost you, Nico, for a few seconds there, good sir. If you could repeat what you said.
Okay, yeah. I was saying, it kind of depends if you are like telling people that it's live or not. So if you're telling people that it's live and there's no chat box, then they'll just be like, well, okay, like that's weird. But also it also kind of depends on the industry you're in. If you're in the like make money online world, most people, like a lot of people kind of know that it's pre-recorded. Whereas if you're in any other niche, then a lot less people are kind of like aware of that. But within the make money online niche specifically, it's very common to say like, hey, we're doing like a live training, but then it's not live. So I would say, to answer your question, like the biggest like factor is going to be like, are you telling people that it's live or are you telling people that it's recorded? And then if you're telling them that it's live, if you can create some sort of a chat function, which you can using ManyChat, you don't have to have like a special software. Like my auto webinar funnel is just ClickFunnels plus ManyChat, which is like the chatbot software.
Oh, nice. So people can actually, so on the page where the webinar is held, they can click and does everyone's comments come up on there, or like is it just the one person can ask?
No. Yeah, so with ManyChat, it's just like the one person is kind of like typing into your bot. And so I do that, for clarification, I do that in like a webinar that's selling my course, which is like a 90-minute webinar.
Okay.
Because people are going to like buy right away. They're not booking to a phone call or anything. But yeah, for that, it's just, it looks kind of like they're chatting with your, with your chatbot, which is pretty cool. And so it's just a one-on-one feel. If you've ever gone to like a lot of software companies use like little like pop-up bubbles, kind of like in the bottom part, and they'll just pop up and they'll say like, hey, do you have any questions?
Yeah.
Like, are you looking at pricing or whatever? It kind of like, it looks like that.
So does someone, I know, well, this is a really interesting question because we've just implemented this for a client, not with ManyChat. So I'll share that in a second, but are you saying that someone like one of your sales reps or support agents would be inside ManyChat, and when a question came through, they would then respond back to it? Or are you saying that ManyChat would then, you'd build an automation that would answer the questions that they would have?
You can do either. Yeah, both are capable in ManyChat.
Okay, amazing. Thanks.
So you can have like a live support agent or someone like be on the other side and like answer questions, or you can just create like some buttons with like frequently asked questions. Yeah, so either way works.
Okay, wow. Okay, cool. Because we've just implemented Twerk, I think it's Talk.
Oh yeah, Talk to or something.
That's it.
Yeah, I've seen that. Okay.
And it's pretty decent, to be honest with you, especially if you're in let's say they come through, it's an automated webinar. However, they might have questions, or someone from the sales team wants to just, like you just said, hey, have you got any questions? I see you're watching the webinar. Like, have you got any questions, so on? So it does that. But it sounds so you can do that with ManyChat, which actually sounds better. Because you can actually get them signed up on your bot as well. So definitely have to take that on board and see how we could potentially implement that in in what we're doing. So does anyone else have any more questions? I want everyone to ask as many questions below because I don't want to keep Nico for too much longer. He has got a lot of stuff to do because he has an incredible online business, which I know is what all of you guys watching this want to do as well. So Nico, what currently are, in terms of your own marketing, what do you currently do to get clients, and what different offers do you have along the value ladder at the moment?
Yeah, that's a great question, or a great couple questions. So what we're doing right now is we're just, I guess, how do I put this? Like, we're going after a different vertical in terms of like our high ticket offer. And so right now, well, literally today, I'm creating like a new YouTube ad to start running traffic to this funnel in terms of with the, like a new, I guess like a new angle or new spin on it.
Right.
So that's what we're doing in terms of getting like, high-end clients. Facebook ads for like a course. That's worked well because the course is on ManyChat, or not ManyChat, it's on like messenger bots. But that's worked well. That one did well on YouTube too, but not currently running YouTube traffic to that. And then just some organic, like I have like a YouTube channel. It's not that big, but get some organic stuff from there, and like email list, ManyChat list, Facebook, like Facebook organic. So I guess that's where all my traffic comes from. I'm personally, like, I'm a fan of YouTube. I think it's, if you're in the make money online space or doing anything having to do with money or online business, like, it's way more friendly to, like, they're way less likely to shut you down, basically. So with Facebook, you can't say anything. Like, if it hints anything about like income or anything like that, they'll just shut you down like that. And YouTube, you can get away with like I've never had a problem with YouTube, and like you literally can show like screenshots of like Stripe or whatever, and like it'll be fine.
So just touching on that for like the last 5 minutes or so, like in terms of where you're taking your business moving forward, you're already focusing on YouTube, which is really exciting by the sounds of it. I know we have a couple of clients who are focusing over there in terms of generating traffic organically and also paid. So let's just say for anyone who is in the position, they have a funnel right now, they have an offer and they've got clients, are selling it. They want to just attract more strategy calls from their webinar funnel. What would you recommend would be the lowest hanging fruit in terms of YouTube? What would you recommend someone would do?
In terms of low hanging fruit, I mean, I would say really it's more like the platform itself. I feel specifically for like make money online or business niche, YouTube is much more like lower hanging fruit than Facebook. Beyond that, it's a little bit like the strategy and the mindset. I don't know, not to like put you on the spot, you may or may not have done YouTube ads like yourself. Just the mindset is really, really, really different. It took me a very long time to, I don't know. It's just like the ad dashboard, like visually is different. And there's so many things that are different, like because it has keywords involved and like channels, whereas like YouTube or with Facebook, like there's none of that. So it's literally just like, it's a different way of thinking. So I would say the platform YouTube as a whole is lower hanging fruit than Facebook. But other than that, I would say, I would say try YouTube. Like, if you have never done it, like definitely try it, because it's, I think it's just like, it's such a big opportunity, and people are, when they're on YouTube, they're like searching for, usually like for an answer. Whereas with Facebook, they are like kind of just looking for like selfies of their friends. Right. So, I mean, with both work, you really just have to kind of try.
Would you Would you recommend, in terms of like an ad, for example, just a real simple recommendation for anyone who might want to do that? Would you recommend like what are you running? Retargeting and cold on YouTube as well? And are they just a short little video, or is it story based? Or have you like done a big production and have you like gone and hired a tank? I saw someone on an ad with a tank the other day. Like,
oh my gosh, no. I literally, so here's my iPhone. Literally, I shot my ads like with my iPhone. Like you don't need a fancy thing for YouTube, and I think it does better. Or actually, I can't really say that I think it does better because I've never shot like a professionally produced YouTube ad. But yeah, it works great just with like iPhone. And I shot like my best performing one. It was just like me, like on a beach, like in the background was like water. And I was just kind of like talking for a little bit at the beginning and then shared a little bit on my computer screen. And then at the end, like the call to action again was me, like my face on the screen. So yeah, I don't know. I'm a much bigger fan of YouTube.
Okay, cool.
Because yeah, the opportunity there is just like, you don't run into like as many scaling issues.
Okay, cool.
I feel. And it's also what I've been told from like mentors. So like naturally my mindset is kind of like went towards that because I'm like, well, if all these guys who I trust are saying it and doing it, then like, you know,
yeah, give it a go.
Right.
No, you've really opened my eyes to that as well. I know we haven't yet personally done YouTube ads. I know that's something we want to roll out over the next month or so. There's a phone going off now over there. Yeah, you've opened my eyes to it. I mean, I'm always on YouTube myself as a user because it's just so great. So, yeah, I mean, ads on there must... I mean, I click through loads of ads, so yeah, it must be a great place to be. We have a couple questions just down here, if you wouldn't mind just answering these.
Yeah, totally.
More here. One person says, what is the second best way to get clients after a webinar?
Second best way, I guess like follow-up. I mean, that should be part of your funnel. Either way. So I mean, first best way, I guess, is like the call to action. I'm assuming that's what they mean.
So I think like, they're saying, let's just say, for example, I just don't want to do a webinar. No, thank you.
Oh, I thought you meant like after the webinar. Okay.
No webinar, I don't want to do one, but I still want to get people on strategy calls at scale, let's say.
Gosh, I mean, I don't know. I would say like if you want to scale and you're doing something that's high ticket that involves a phone call, like video funnel. Like it can be a long webinar or it can be a short form webinar like we do, but it's just going to be really, really hard to run traffic profitably to something. So I would say, I mean, you can produce like a ton of organic content too. Like if you want to go like organic on YouTube and be posting like every day, that's fine, and like that will, you know, it works, but it's more like the amount of effort that you're putting into creating one YouTube video, one organic YouTube video is like pretty much the same as creating one like short form webinar.
Yeah.
So I literally like, I mean, I would honestly just go with, you know, buckling up and doing the webinar. If you absolutely can't, I would say it's probably just going to be more like organic content marketing.
Okay, cool. Dude, I just want to sit here ask you questions today because you're a legend. We've got more questions coming in right here. So, okay, before we get into that, how much longer do you have? I just want to be super respectful of your time.
Yeah, I would say like if we maybe like 5 more minutes.
Okay, cool.
Would that work for you? Okay.
Yeah, that's perfect. Okay, cool. So, if let's say, for example, someone, and I know a few of our clients are doing this, let's say someone is creating videos on their personal Facebook profile, would you recommend just downloading those videos and then just uploading them to a YouTube organic profile, like just their YouTube page, as a starting point for them to build some content on their YouTube channel?
Yeah, I would say at first that's a great way to do it. You don't like... Yeah, I would say absolutely. That's how I like first started my YouTube. I don't even have like a super big YouTube, but now I do sometimes create like content that's specifically for YouTube, but that's how I started with my YouTube. And literally the first video that I did that got like a lot of views, and you can still see it there. It's something like how to install like a chatbot into ClickFunnels or whatever. It's like a Facebook Live video uploaded to YouTube, and over the past like year and a half or 2 years or whatever, it has gotten like a lot of organic views. But yeah, I would say just like if you don't have time to create YouTube specific content, then just republish it on there. And honestly, if you don't have a large following, focusing a ton of time on organic YouTube is just going to be really slow and probably kind of discouraging, because it takes a long time to get traction on YouTube. It's kind of the opposite of every other platform.
Yeah. Okay, awesome. Thank you. Right, I'll get quickly through these last questions. So,
totally.
Mighty Network, is it good to have a club? I think club, this person means like a Facebook group, like a group. Is it good to have a Facebook group?
Yeah, I mean, I would say it's good to, especially when you're just starting out, it's kind of an easy way to collect people in like a more intimate environment, and they're probably going to be kind of like your first group of like buyers or clients, if you do it the right way, right? Whereas if you don't have a Facebook group and you're kind of just like going out, without a Facebook group, it'll work too. But yeah, I would say it's just a kind of an easy way, especially if you're just getting started, to kind of like have your core group of people who
Oh, I've got one more question. Oh no, we've lost Nico. Hopefully he comes back. Okay, you're back. Yes.
Here. Yeah. Okay. Woo! It must be my Wi-Fi. Sorry about that.
No problem. Okay. Awesome. Good to have a Facebook group. That's your answer, everybody. It's good to have a Facebook group. Right. Next. This is quite okay. This might be a bit of a longer question, but how do you find your mentors? Was it internationally? And how do you recommend going about finding mentors, basically?
I would say a lot of time, like, this is not meant to be philosophical, but a lot of times, like, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. So probably people who you already follow and who you already trust are offering that sort of thing, or some of them are. Like for me, the way that I found my first business coach was like, I had already been reading her blog for like 6 months. So like when it was time to actually like find a business coach, like, I mean, I already knew that she offered it, so it was just kind of like natural. I would say like people who, a lot of times people who you're following now, or who you've just really been like driving with their content or driving with how they do business, like a lot of them probably will offer some sort of coaching or mentorship like that. So I would say do that. Otherwise, if you have like someone who you really trust in the space, like in your, maybe who is doing something similar to you, you can kind of ask them if they have any recommendations, if nobody comes to mind for you.
Nice. Thank you so much. I think that was really valuable. I mean, your mentors, your coaches are typically people you already know. You just have to kind of like have a think and like reach out, like who do you read already? Who do you follow on Facebook? Who's inspiring you right now? And typically you probably know who some of those people are. So that was really great. Thank you for that, Nico. Awesome. Totally. We've taken enough of Nico's time today, but he shared some absolute gold. I really appreciate you sharing with all of us and the tribe of experts here. Nico, I know you've got something to give away to everyone who have stayed to the end of this presentation. So what is it that you've got to give everyone? How can they go and grab it?
Yeah, so I have got free webinar email templates for you guys. That seems to be like kind of the most popular freebie that I have going on right now. So that's what I've got. Nice. You can go to, do we have like a place to, I don't see any place where I can link it, but
we'll put it in the comments after this. After this, we'll put a link to it in the comments so you can go grab that. And if anyone wants to sort of reach out to Nico and actually have more of a personal conversation with him about anything that he's talked about, I cannot recommend him highly enough. So go and click on his face on Facebook and then have a little chat with him if you feel like that's something that you want to do. Is there any last words you want to say, Nico?
No, that's it. Yeah, it's been really great sharing with you guys. If you guys are, if you guys want to chat more or whatever, you can find my main website is nicomoreno.org, and just like it sounds, or you can hit me up on Facebook, and yeah, we'll also link to that freebie for you guys down below. But it's been a pleasure. I love having conversations like this, so thank you so much for having me on.
No, my pleasure, man. I really appreciate it, and hopefully we can have another conversation in 12 months time and really see where you've got to. I think that's kind of the plan that I want to do with these calls. So yeah, thank you so much. This has been the Expert Freedom Show. Thank you everyone for watching the show. If you're watching on the replay or if you're watching live right now, let us know in the comments if you've got value from today's video so that we can keep making these for you. Our mission here with the Tribe of Experts is to help advance human potential by sharing wisdom and knowledge with everyone in here so that you can help your clients better. Have a great day, and we will all see you very soon. Bye-bye.